What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers, so please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. If you want up to 12 free stocks, Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put any amount of money in that brokerage account. They're going to give you up to 12 free stocks for just trying out the brokerage app. Those 12 free stocks will be worth up to $30,600. There's a link down in the description box of the video. Go click on that Webull link today. Go open up that new Webull account. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. Guys, I was reading several articles that are predicting a real estate market crash. Commercial real estate is at the top of that list of real estate that could be in trouble in 2023 and on into 2024. Here's the situation with commercial real estate, guys. That is every type of real estate that's not residential. So you're talking about office space, you're talking about industrial space, you're talking about retail space, medical space, special purpose buildings. All of that is considered commercial. And really what drives the value for commercial real estate is income. How much income can that property produce? And that income that it produces equates to a market value for that piece of real estate. Most commercial real estate loans are gonna be 3 to 7 year terms. And they're gonna have 20 to 25 year amortizations. So unlike residential loans where you can go buy a house and get a loan with a 15-year fixed or a 20-year fixed or a 30-year fixed, typically you cannot do that with commercial. And the reason you don't do that with commercial is because banks are not willing to take on that level of risk. See, commercial real estate in a banker's mind, in a lender's mind, is a riskier form of real estate. Here's why. When the market starts going down on commercial real estate, rents start going down. You have owners of these commercial real estate properties, their loans are starting to come due. There is no buyer for that property. Then guess what? Your default rates go up, delinquencies go up. So banks don't want to assume all that risk, so they will not give you a 10-year fixed or a 15-year fixed or a 30-year fixed because they assume all the risk when they lock in your rate that long. So what they typically do is they limit you to a 3-year term to a 7-year term. Now here's the situation with owners of commercial real estate though. A lot of those 3-year and 7-year fixed rate loans are starting to come up for maturity. And you know where we're at with interest rates, through the roof. So therefore, if your interest rate was, let's say 4.5% 3 years ago, now your loan is set to come due or reset the interest rate, and now the interest rate is 6.5%. You don't have to be a PhD in mathematics to figure out if my rate was 4.5, now I'm gonna be paying 6.5. That's gonna cut into what? My profits. And if I'm trying to sell this property, the prospective buyer will do their due diligence and figure the same thing out. A lot of these folks cannot sell their properties because they owe more than what the property's worth. Remember, I said the income really drives the value of the property. So if the income is coming down, you get a 2% increase in your interest rate, that's going to drive down the income. Also, if you have to reduce the rent in order to keep the tenant in the property, that's going to reduce your income. So that's going to reduce what? The value of the property. And a lot of these buyers know that. So a lot of these folks are going to have to either restructure their loans with their bank, if the bank is willing to, or they're going to probably have to give up the property. So that's why in these articles that I read, there's a real concern about commercial real estate around the country. Most buyers for these types of properties are saying to themselves, why would I take on a piece of real estate that's going to pay me a 3% return on my money or a 4% return? It's not worth it when I can go and get a U.S. Treasury with no risk and pretty much a guarantee to get my principal back at a 5% interest rate. So commercial real estate right now, man, is really not that attractive. And yeah, I believe we are going to see some higher level of defaults coming in the next probably 6 to 12 to 18 months. So how does that affect residential? I don't think it affects residential really at all, because residential real estate, in my opinion, is still a supply issue. There's not enough of it. Now, of course, before interest rates went through the roof, a year and a half ago, when rates were 3%, yeah, there was a demand for real estate, residential real estate. Right now, I think that demand has certainly tapered off, but I don't think there's still not enough supply for the existing demand that's still there. So when you look around the country pre-pandemic, there were some markets who really exploded after the pandemic. So pre-pandemic, they were just regular areas and had regular real estate turnover from a housing standpoint. But then after the pandemic, and they got that increase in demand, places like Provo, Utah, and Austin, Texas, they just shot up. Now you're starting to see some of those areas who had the biggest gains right after the pandemic, 18 months later, you're starting to see some of those areas cool off from a housing standpoint. They're starting to cool off, some of them by 10%. But that's just certain parts of the country, guys. Here in the state of Florida, we're not cooling off like that at all. I mean, real estate is still pretty hot. It ain't hot as it was when rates were 3%, because of course, anytime rates go up and they double in 18 months, that's going to reduce your number of qualified buyers because people can't get financing. Financing becomes too expensive. So therefore, there's not much you can do other than wait to see if rates are going to come down. If rates come down, I guarantee you'll see another explosion in residential real estate, specifically housing, right? You're going to see that if rates come down. Right now, rates are not coming down, so you don't see as much demand. But sellers ain't really panicking, because most of these sellers are saying, hey, I got a good fixed rate interest rate because I got my property before rates went up. So I'll just sit tight with my 3% interest rate and ride this thing out until, either interest rates come down again, which will spark what? Demand. And then I can put it on the market at that point, right? So this is just a wait and see for some of these sellers. And the sellers that do decide to put their property on the market, they're basically thinking the same thing, right? Hey, I'm good. I got my property pre-pandemic, so I got a good price on it. Post-pandemic, I'm still in the green because it went up in value, and I can just sit tight and wait. Why would I want to give up my super strong 3% 30-year fixed rate mortgage rate, knowing that I'm not going to be able to get that when I go to buy another house? I'll just sit tight. I won't even put my property on the market. Let's just wait. So I don't think residential housing has been affected by what's going on in the commercial space. It just hasn't, right? Because again, demand is still at a point where it still meets supply. We've always had lower supply of housing since the pandemic pretty much ended, right? So for a guy like me who was looking for residential real estate, the current house that I live in now, I had been looking for property for over a year. And I had saw this property early on in my search for a new property, but it was priced at a certain price that I didn't feel like I wanted to pay. So guess what I did? I just stayed patient. And that's what I'm gonna tell you guys. Stay patient till you find the right property at the right price. That's what I did with this house. I just stayed patient. I didn't panic. I kept looking. I kept on dripping on the contractors or the builders, kept dripping on them. And we finally came up with a price that they were happy with, that I was happy with, and we made the deal happen. I myself got creative with my financing. I did not take a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I did a 3-3-30. What that means is my rate is locked for the first 3 years. It will adjust one time for the next 3 years, and then it will adjust one more time in year 7 through 30. I know I'm not going to keep the property 6 years. I already know that. So for me, that was the best strategy, is to get the lowest rate I could with an ARM product. And then within 6 years, I'm going to sell the house anyways and move on. I'm probably going to stay in this house 3 to 5 years. So that's not a big deal for me. Also, I know I have the cash reserves to pay the house off, pay the mortgage off. I got no credit card debt. I got no other consumer debt other than the mortgage. So I'm good. Plus, I got a high income skill set where I make enough money on a monthly basis to take care of everything in my lifestyle. All I'm telling you guys is don't panic. Don't worry about it. Be patient. Make sure you got reserve cash so that if you do get into the weeds, you can get out of the weeds. And then just be patient and find the right property for you. There are some deals out there, man, on residential homes. It is. Whether it be 1 to 4 family homes. It's some deals out there, but you're going to have to take your time and find them. And you're going to have to be aggressive. You can't just say a price at a number you're not happy with and say, well, you know, I'm not going to make an offer to the seller because they probably won't take it. No, make an offer. Be aggressive. Make it attractive for them. Because if they got the property up for sale, guys, in times like this where we got these high interest rates and they know they have a limited selection of buyers because of demand being down because high interest rates, then you know this person is really motivated to sell this property, man. If they got their property up for sale right now, knowing everything I just talked about in this video, then they're motivated. And that's what you got to understand. Don't negotiate against yourself, though. If they got a property out there that you like, it's at a certain price, go ahead and calculate what you're willing to pay, and that's the offer you make. You start low, and then you guys meet somewhere that both parties are happy. And if you can't meet in the middle or come to a happy agreement on the price, then what do? You move on. You just simply move on and go to the next one. So yeah, man, I think you can buy real estate in good and bad times. Personally, I would stay away from commercial. It's just too much of a wild card with commercial. It is just too many variables for commercial. Number one, you're going to have a super high interest rate. Number two, you're not going to get a 30-year fix. You're going to get a 3 to 7 year term. And then number three, your tenant might leave. See, that's the thing with commercial, man. People will leave a commercial space. Why? Because 95% of businesses in America are small businesses. And most of those 95% of small businesses can do what? They can run their business out of their own home. So if they get in a financial bind and you right here with a 3-unit industrial property or a 3-unit retail property or a small office building and it hits the fan, likelihood of you losing those tenants is going to be greatly increased with commercial. And that's why it's riskier. That's why banks won't take on all the risk. So drop me some comments and let me know, do you own commercial real estate? And if you do own it, how are you feeling? Because it's not looking real good for commercial real estate, right? How are you feeling? Drop them down in the comment box. If you want them 12 free stocks from Webull, again, guys, up to 12 free stocks, then click on that link down in the description box. Open that Webull account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace. Today's video is sponsored by my company, RF Financial Consulting. And in my company, I work with individuals just like you through financial mentoring and coaching sessions. And in those 1-hour sessions, we talk about strategies to help you get to your financial freedom, whether it be through real estate investing, stock market investing, creating additional streams of income, credit card arbitrage, or starting and growing a business. If that's something that you might be interested in, there's an email address in the description box of the video. Send me an email and let's discuss if I'm the right fit for you.